Cross. You sounded very cross on the show.
Very cross.
Guys, we started. Eh?
Sorry. We're clearly not cross.
Bryan wants us to be serious.
I work with a bunch of bloody amateurs.
The best amateurs you've ever worked with.
Did you guys see the MotoGP race last weekend? Did you see that crash?
Man, did you see the Moto2 crash?
Yeah.
Huh? Man.
But
old Rossi.
Rossi's the luckiest rider in the world at the moment.
That was insane, man.
We forgot to give a shout out to Brad Binder last week.
We did.
Yeah, that was...
it was on our list.
It was on our list, but we ran out of time.
But yeah, we were going to say congrats to him twice in a row. I mean, he won the first one, and last week he did flipping well.
He did bloody well.
Yeah.
No, it was awesome.
There were a couple of crashes that gave him positions, but nevertheless.
Yeah, no, look, we all need those little boosts.
No, but you take what you can get.
he did what he had to do. It was, he's a future champ for sure. Have you seen quite a lot of aviation news this week? One of the big bosses, or top CEOs, leaving Mango, old Nico.
Yeah.
There seems to be like a bit of mass panic there at Mango now, because they're sort of esteemed leader who's been by far the top leader in any of the state-owned companies, on his way to Europe. So that's a bit sad.
Oh, well, that's the one thing that this country knows how to do really, really well is to lose great leadership. I mean, what now? Yeah? Who's gonna take over? Yeah. At a time like this where we really need a good leader there. Anyway, that's sad. I don't know if it's confirmed where he's going, but it looks like to Guernsey, I believe. Yeah.
Said Guernsey.
Or Rigney Airlines or something.
Or Rigney, or whatever that.
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's
sad.
sad.
Is that a step up or down for him?
Up.
He's going to Europe.
Yeah.
Big step up.
Yeah. That's a step up.
No brainer.
Yeah. And I think you'll have much easier shareholders to deal with as well.
Yep, without a doubt.
The tourism side, the local hospitality side's got a lot. It's like this upbeat vibe at the moment because local tourism is open, and sort of a nice atmosphere around it. Obviously, it brings to light that the borders are still closed, so all international travel's still not allowed, but there's definitely this sort of optimism that's out there in the local tourism side, and for sure encouraging people to go and make the most of it now while those prices are sort of for South Africans.
On that subject, I want to throw you a Ponzi scheme. I wonder if government's thought about it. How many jobs would you say are created by every single passenger that gets flown in over border, whether for business or travel? How many jobs does that create from the time that person lands on our soil till when they leave?
No idea.
I mean, just look, I don't have the facts because I was hoping Brett would have the answers on that. but think about it.
We'll have to have some of the answers.
Well, that's why you're the business guy. You can throw those numbers around. But I mean, I was just thinking about it the other day. Even if it's 100 jobs per passenger that is created by each passenger that flies in from over border. I mean, can you imagine the impact that makes?
Well, can you imagine the impact it makes when they're closed?
Well, that's...
I mean...
the numbers are ridiculous in the hospitality industry. I mean, we're looking at, just in South Africa, what are we looking at here? I mean, we're looking at a 6 billion a month loss in that industry. 500,000 people at any given time now over the last 4 months have not earned an income.
Yeah.
So that is a huge part of the population. The economy has taken a pounding because of that. The numbers over in the States are something like $400 million a day lost in the hospitality industry. So it's huge. The impact is, it's always never just one person. As you say, it's the family that's attached to that person earning an income.
Yeah.
And the numbers are not good, but they're trying. I mean, the hospitality industry in South Africa is pushing Ramaphosa to just consider some concessions. Government has ignored 2 of their 3 requests. They've just put a 3rd one in, but they're not asking for a hell of a lot. They're just asking for some assistance. But so far, It's mute.
Nothing. Yeah, we spoke about last week we showed those pictures of the flight radar in Africa's borders closed. Nigeria opening up at the end of the month.
Yep, Zambia as well, I think.
Well, hopefully that's a catalyst for everyone else.
Zimbabwe's open as well.
Because, we can talk about tourism as much as you want. It's the overseas tourists that bring the dollars and the euros in that kind of make all the difference. But maybe, by those countries opening up, that's obviously the next step for South Africa, and still optimistic that it will open up relatively shortly.
Well, they talk about 2021. Borders are opening. January 2021.
It's got to be before there, Brett.
It has to.
It's got to be.
I know we say it's got to be because we have different mindsets.
Look, everything's been a month. The great communicator does a fellow South African speech once a month, basically, and it always gets taken to another level.
Yeah.
What is the next level?
It's supposed to be level 1.
Yeah, but what is level 1?
Who knows? Because they change the rules all the time.
It's moving the goalposts all the time.
But apparently it's level 0 where borders are open. So if that's correct, yes, maybe October we're looking at an opening of borders, but hospitality industry is expecting 1st of Jan 2021, although a lot of airlines, I'm hearing Lufthansa, Swiss Air are flying in from the 1st of September.
Yeah, they got confirmed. Flights shown online
you can book
1st of September. Yeah. So let's fingers crossed for 1st of September.
I just hope that they actually also figure out that people rely on planning. So give an indication. Say, listen, 1st of October we're going to open the borders. Then
Europe relies on planning, and America relies on planning. Africa.
What's the opposite of planning?
Yeah, I mean.
The thing that irritates me, and I understand, you run a business, you want to get the most revenue for your asset, you want to turn your money over as quick as possible. That's what business is all about. But we got the CEO of Bonn Hotels shouting out on media, stating that we've got to attract the South African market. His hotels are in South Africa, but he focuses on the international market. Now suddenly he's crying because nobody's going to his hotels because it's outpriced. But now there's a crisis. Now suddenly he wants to step up and be and that irritates
It's
me.
always been like it, but there's a lot of places that were not geared for South Africans, let's be honest.
No,
they
for
were
sure
just,
not.
And
yeah.
It's one of the places in the world where there was also not a price for South Africans. There wasn't a local's price. So 100% agree. There's a lot.
It happens in restaurants. You go to the Cape and you got a December menu and price list, and then you got an out of season price list for the locals.
It's like,
it's in a bad situation, a local will say, well, I'm not supporting you. If you're not supporting me in tourist season, I'm not supporting you outside.
But this is what I'm talking about. Don't you think there's a lot of people we can support now that are, there's an opportunity there. Those, maybe give those big hotels a skip and try out some of your local B&Bs in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, now's the opportunity. We can do it. We can travel. We can do whatever we like now.
Yeah.
within reason.
I had a look at some costing again, Joburg to Cape Town. I did this on Wednesday, a couple of days ago. It's now Friday morning. This is actually for today. The cheapest I could find on Airlink was quite expensive actually. A return flight, 7,229 Rand. Okay, given to Cape Town. Given though I just took an actual, it was right there and then what's the cheapest. Now it's not always a fair comparison because they didn't have any of their cheap seats left available. So obviously they sold a decent amount of tickets already. Mango was 3,224, Safair 2,736. So Safair return is still bloody cheap to go to Cape Town for a weekend.
Yeah.
If you've got yourself accommodation there, reasonable accommodation, it's well worth jumping on a Safair flight to
well, that's
go and have a bit of a holiday.
Reading up, I think it was this week where they were saying most of their flights out of Joburg and Lanseria were fully booked. Obviously, after the announcement on Saturday, there was a spike in booking and people traveling. But it's between them and Airlink and Semi at the moment. I think Mango have only got 6% capacity.
It's low.
Not capacity, but
Capacity, what's left?
Yeah, something like that.
They probably, or market share, I don't know. If you look online, Airlink seems to be moving a lot of passengers. They're advertising, look, and Airlink must get credit as well, because they're flying to Hoedspruit, they're flying to a lot more destinations. They're advertising sort of Hoedspruit quite a lot now. I think they're moving quite a lot of people. Safair are definitely moving the majority of people, just by talking. If you say who you're flying with, everyone I've bumped into is flying on Safair. Yeah. So yeah, it's worth it if you're going to travel. If you want a bit of a break, now's the time before the borders are open, because the prices are in rands, not euros.
And I'm hearing a lot more people saying, I'm paying a deposit for December holidays in the Cape, in Durban, wherever it is. The guys are active, that they're stepping up to do that, which is really great, because majority of travelers, especially younger travelers, would end up in Bali, Thailand over the December period because it's so cheap. Now, hopefully they can do something here locally.
You mentioned Thailand there. If you guys check what's happening in Thailand, they have totally closed down. There is no traveling at all in Thailand.
Serious?
Yeah. There's no flying. Borders are closed. It's quite a serious thing there. The economy is taking a hammering, because that economy is tourism. And without tourism, there is no economy.
There is nothing else.
They're not exactly mining gold there on the beach.
Might be a new opportunity for them.
Yeah. It's worldwide. Boris Johnson. He loves this whole quarantine story. Have you seen the managers?
With a hairdo like that, I'd also want to quarantine myself.
It changes so often there in the UK. There's now quarantine for a whole bunch of other countries. I think Greece is on that list, Cyprus. But Heathrow Airport, you can actually, when you land, you have to book your COVID test, go for your test, and then you'll get those results back, relatively soon, which will reduces your quarantine time. So if you're negative, then I think you spend 5 days in quarantine. Obviously, if you're positive, it's a different story. Yeah. But you're actually going to get tested at the airport. And I read an article there, the bosses of Heathrow Airport have basically said to Boris that he must get a grip and sort this quarantine stuff out, because it's just not feasible going forward. Yeah. Because England's not in good shape, or the UK is not in good shape.
There was a similar article as well from the CEO of Emirates, where he was saying that it's not feasible anymore, especially with the whole social distancing thing that they're trying to impose on flights. It's just not economically viable. So he's relying on a vaccine to come out pretty soon. Obviously saying that once that vaccine comes out, it'll be a lot better for the airlines. But
we're going to go get a Russian vaccine this afternoon. We're mixed with Coke.
Fix any virus.
Talking of Emirates, they've got to get a bailout, Emirates, you see, from their shareholder.
Yeah.
They're actually getting a bailout. Yeah. Emirates are getting a bailout. You know that the aviation industry has taken a whack.
Proper.
I don't think there's an airline out there that's not going to ask for some form of bailout. I don't think an airline out there is going to survive without some bailout.
Emirates are running at 230 flights. That's 40% of their normal capacity. You know what I find strange? I'm seeing. I mean, we know quite a few guys that went to Emirates. They haven't been there sort of years, but they still seem to have a job, which is awesome. But there's a lot of guys that you check these A380 captains and that have been there for ages, and they are back in South Africa looking for work. Quite a strange setup there. Obviously, the seniority doesn't exist there, so it's just cost to company. It's all based on cost to company.
Yeah, exactly.
So it actually suited you to get in later and be cheaper to Emirates and actually stay on board. So some guys still very lucky, and they are flying around with jobs.
But my concern is the loss of experience.
Well, that's exactly it.
I mean, SAA we're sitting at with a reduction down to 80 odd pilots.
But they're not worried about that. They haven't even thought that far ahead because you know
experience
what's
is irrelevant.
No, man, autonomous aeroplanes are on the way.
Oh, there we go.
4,000 staff to 1,000 employees at SAA. That's what they want.
Yeah. No, but they've got
4,000 to
1,000.
1,000.
And A350s are flying by themselves now. You saw that autonomous takeoff and landing at all.
Yeah, but it will, So it's only going to take 20 years to
their business model probably doesn't even include pilots in the future. Everybody's going to fly themselves, man.
Business model, please, man.
What's that?
Well, you tell me you're a business guy. I'm just having a bit of a rant.
If we have a look at the airlines and that, and we're talking about hospitality as well today, something I'm not getting, one of the largest hotel groups in Europe, the Accor Hotel Group, Standard & Poor's and Fitch have downgraded the investment status. Not because of anything they've done, but because of COVID, the lack of tourism. So they downgraded them, and it's going to cost them another 84 million euros on the current loans they have. What is Standard & Poor's and Fitch, these rating agencies, coming in and downgrading a business, making it more impossible for them to actually survive through this because of something out of their control? It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I understand when a country does something stupid, you downgrade them. But a business? And that's what they're doing out there. So it seems like we're trying to recover, but at the same time, our
they want to stand on your throats.
No, but that's what's going on the whole way around. Look at us here in South Africa. We're trying to recover. The economy's trying to start, but you need assistance from the powers that be to actually do that. Otherwise, you can't.
Well, you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally a noose around the neck, and they're just tightening it.
The powers that be are mostly sick at the moment. Have you seen that? I mean, deputy president's not anywhere to be seen.
No.
Who is the deputy president?
I don't know, but he earns 2.4 million a year.
Yeah.
Please, man.
What's his name?
I don't
Deputy.
know. Dep.
Dep.
Number 2.
Number 2. But yeah, anyway, there's a lot of other things.
Yeah.
You see, he's nowhere to be seen. And he's sick, but not sick.
Well, he might have a party at his house to celebrate the sickness. What is the most stressful situation you've been in?
Sitting here right now with you two.
I can see the sweat.
I'm not stressed.
What's your most stressful situation?
My most stressful situation.
Mine was getting an email on the 23rd, or 2 days or 1 day before payday, to say you're not getting paid for your service that you
for the service you're still performing.
Yeah,
No,
that was up there.
What's yours?
There was that, but then there was that whole thing where like, oh no, don't worry, we're going to sort you out, this and the next thing, fill in this paperwork, sign this, scan that, boom, send it off, they're going to fix you up. Then they promise you, no, you're going to get severance pay, and you're going to get sorted out. Remember, we saw these figures like, oh no, wait, breathe a sigh of relief, you're going to be okay. That was on a Monday. And then the following Friday, you get another email to say, sorry, now we've decided it's not going to work. How stressful was that week?
No, it was wild.
So those things, they're stressful. I've been through stressful situations, but there is one situation which I think is the epitome of stress. Being in a 73-meter aluminium tube, 408 kilometers above the Earth, orbiting the Earth in the International Space Station, and there's a freaking air leak that they cannot find.
A leak?
The ISS is leaking air, and they cannot find where the leak is.
Yup.
That would be stressful for me.
Where did you get that, Jen?
It's
I didn't
out
hear about
now.
it, because I'd have a bit
The
of a...
leak started in September last year, and they're only trying to fix it this weekend.
You know, imagine now you're on the ISS and you hear that news.
Brett, when you read that news,
You know what you're going
were
to hear?
you smoking something?
Had nothing to do with the mushroom.
Or if I'm sitting up there and I get that kind of news, it's going to... The one leak you're going to know about is when everyone's going...
Yeah, they're trying to fix the leak this weekend. They're trying to find it first.
Okay. Oh, well,
That's stressful.
That is stressful. Who was it made by?
They think it's in the Russian side.
Yeah, of course. It's always the Russians.
Jeez.
It's always the Russians. Yeah, anyway, back local. Anyway, just to stay on SAA, they obviously there's a lot of talk there with the potential equity partners getting involved. Brett, you mentioned the other day Ethiopian, one of the original people that were businesses that was interested in buying in. Looks like they're still there. Yeah, but is it not that it's a little bit like, it's like seeing a great white shark attacking a seal that's been injured. They see an opportunity there. There's an airline there that's basically would be.
Yeah, there was an opportunity before this whole COVID.
Yeah,
and that's where they started the discussions. They turned it down. Now they're proud to announce that Ethiopian is a possible potential buyer or partner or whatever they're looking at. I don't know who the rest are, and I don't know how viable the rest are. But you know what? Quite honestly, Ethiopian is Africa's strongest airline. There's no doubt about it. There's nothing that
there's
can
no
touch
question.
those guys.
No.
Why not partner with them? I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and we mentioned the partnership between Rwanda is growing rapidly, and their sort of connection with Qatar is going to be interesting to see.
No, for sure.
I'm tired of kicking this SAA can down the road the whole time. Let's change the subject.
Okay, let's talk about SA Express.
Out of the box.
Well,
it's supposed to be vibey and positive.
So let's talk about that. You know what's awesome? So many guys and girls and sort of ex-colleagues and pilots, we've mentioned a few times, have gone off, started their own businesses and are doing now quite well, because there's that initial phase where you're encouraged to start something and you're not quite sure how it's going to turn out. But there's a few guys they've started something and it's actually turned into something that's got legs for the future, which is a hell of a nice to see. There's growing markets every day. We've encouraged, get online, see what's out there, see what's available, do an online course, set up a profile. And the reason we're pushing the online or your social media side of it is not so that you can go on social media and waste your time on social media. Brett, jump in here as well. It's about utilizing your time on social media properly. So engaging, if you want to grow your account or grow your business account, you know, one of the bits of advice that's coming out is you need to engage with other businesses and other people that are in line with your values and your interests. So if you're a bit nervous about starting off or growing your brand, rather, you know, to not worry about what content you're posting, but rather engage with other businesses and people that have those same values and in the same direction as your business. And by engage, I mean like a post, make a comment, see what they're doing. Am I right? Is that the best way to start?
Well, as you say, people get onto social media and they spend time on Facebook liking arbitrary crap, quite honest. And you can spend an hour there before you even know it. How about just spending that time on your LinkedIn, on your Facebook, putting some content out there that shows who you are, and as you say, engage with people. It's amazing how many people out there, if you find someone who's a CEO of a company and he's doing something that you would love to get involved in, engage with him. You'll be surprised how many of these guys, and I think every one of them, bar a very few exception, they are happy to help. They're happy to refer you to someone, give you some advice on something. And when you've done with that hour on social media, instead of just liking some rubbish, you've actually added some value to your life. And that makes such a big difference.
And it also directs your own business strategy, because you start to see, these guys are doing that, it's working quite well, or you can adjust this or change something. But you have to engage. You have to engage with people. And you know, this whole thing about, you know, a few years ago, guys were almost embarrassed if they didn't have a certain amount of connections or followers. That sort of that to me is sort of gone out the window. No one's really interested in that. It's more about either the content that you're pushing out, is it good quality content? Are you saying the right thing? And are people re-engaging with you after you put a bit of content out? Or, you know, like we're saying, go follow someone that knows what they're doing and see how they're going about their business. It's a nice way to learn. You don't have to go do an e-learning course to learn about those things. You can learn by doing.
For sure. I agree with you. I know there's a lot of emphasis on how many followers, how many Facebook friends do I have. Really, those people don't care about you. You need to put out the right stuff, and the stats are, and it's been proven over and over again, you need 1,000 people who truly buy into what you're doing. If you've got that, your business will fly. It's going to succeed. There's no doubt about it. And having a business profile, having a brand out there is the new business. We've got to realize this. Working for Toyota and that's your life, it's not what it's about anymore. It's changing. Those jobs are not going to exist. They always say that the kids that are born now or are living now are preparing for jobs that do not exist. And that it's never been as true as that. If you look anywhere on social media, this didn't exist 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think what people haven't quite grasped is you can work somewhere, but your personal brand, just from you as an individual, is so critically important. We've pushed every week, go sort out your LinkedIn profile, because your next job, your employer is likely to look at your LinkedIn profile before he looks at your emailed CV.
Yeah.
So it's critical to sort all that stuff out. And if you need help with that stuff, please give us a shout. We're more than happy. We've helped a few people, and we actually quite enjoy it. So please engage with us on that. Give us a shout. Brett's very good at that, and we can certainly help you with your profile, getting it up and running, whether it's your own individual personal brand or your business brand. If you started something new and you want to promote it and get it a bit wider spread, then we're more than happy to put it on the podcast. Anyone that's listening to this is our friend, so we're more than happy to help any of you guys. So on my website, I'll put it in the show notes. Just fill in the little form there. It's got a little if you fill in your name, you don't even have to put in your number or anything. Just put in exactly what your business is, and we'll push it for you. Particularly if it's something that sort of we can identify with. If you're trying something, if you're trying to make something happen, then we really do want to help you. Yeah. That's our whole theme of the show, I think, is just to help.
Exactly, it's our main aim.
A little thing that I heard, when nothing is certain, anything is possible. And we are in the time where uncertainty rules. So that means anything is possible.
Exactly.
Just get out there, go and do it. And we're happy to help, as you said.
We want to help.
Yeah, love to.
He's not Chuck Yeager. That's not Warren Buffett. I'm a little bit like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, you're getting
Cheers,
a
guys.
little bit bored.
Well, that's all for this week, folks. Thanks for listening and for your continued support. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and pass the show on to your friends, your families, and your colleagues. If you'd like to get in touch with us, my email address is in the show details. Stay positive, keep the passion alive, and we'll see you next week. Cheers for now.